Hello, and welcome back to Let's Talk Chicago Bears. How are you all today? Well, it's the day after Christmas. I hope you all had a great Christmas. I hope Santa was good to you. And everything, all your dreams came true. Now, this was one of my gifts, this new hat. Am I not rocking it or what? Yeah, baby. So it was a good weekend, except for what happened on Saturday. That terrible game we all know, and we're going to talk about in a minute. But again, I really do hope you guys had a great Christmas. And now all that work is over with, and it's like, oh my God. And now we're just looking forward to the 2023 new year and the 2023 new season with the Chicago Bears, right? Okay. So, you know what? I didn't do a lot of stats and breakdowns like I normally do because we all know we lost 35-13. So it was not a good game. It wasn't a good game at all for the Bears. The Bears, I got to say, out of all the games this year, this is one of the worst that I think they looked. They just, they look lethargic to me. They just, there were some good things, but I don't know. It just wasn't pretty. That's for sure. It was really kind of a boring, disappointing game. It really was. It started out exciting, but then it just went downhill after that. So the Bears, we know, are 3-12 now. And then all you're seeing on the internet and everywhere is, oh, they get the number one pick, blah, blah, blah. I don't even want to talk about that right now, I'd like another fucking win before the end of the season. At least one, although it's not looking too good. So let's go over my top threes real quick. The Bears only had 2 penalties, and the Bills actually had 9. Isn't that crazy? But look what they did to us. We lost the time of possession. We had it for 28 minutes. They had it for 31 minutes. We won the turnover battle again and still couldn't pull out a win. Terrible. We had 3 turnovers this week, and they had 2. I mean, come on, Bears. What the hell? I mean, impressive that we're getting these turnovers now. Obviously, they're preaching them, but we're going to get into that in a minute. So let's do a quick overview of the offense, which we know is not much to talk about. Fields was 15 of 23 for only 119 yards passing, with only 11 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, and he was sacked twice. This is the first time the Bears that I think that I could find is the Bears have been held to under 100 yards rushing. They only had a total of 80. David Montgomery had 62. He was the tops. Herbert did not have many. I think he had like 11. I didn't even put it in there. And we know Fields only had 11 rushing. So it was not a good rushing day for the Bears, to say the least. Number 12, our wide receiver, Jones, I got to say it was probably one of the best games he's had all season, though. He had 52 yards receiving, and he had that one great catch where Fields threw it just perfectly for him, and it was in between 2 receivers, and it was a 44-yard catch. It was great. It was great. I'd really like to see Jones step up and start doing that a lot more because, he needs to work on that. Although what he really needs to work on is holding on to the ball because we know he's been fumbling. So if he can get over that, next year could look much better for him. But that was a beautiful throw and catch. It really was. It was probably one of the highlights of the game. The 2 highlights, one was the Bears went right down and scored the first touchdown where it looked like they were not going to, because then they had a penalty. They had a touchdown, called back, penalty, holding, and then they ended up getting the penalty. So I was really pissed. I'm like, here we go again, And then they ended up, Montgomery went in and scored for the touchdown. But those 2 were the pretty much highlights of the offensive game for the Bears on Saturday. Was that great throw to Jones for 44 yards, and then we went down on the first drive and scored. That is it, people. That's all I got for you. This is not going to be a long show. I didn't have very many viewers even watch the last show, but, I'm going to do it, of course, because I do. I'm not going to give up on the Bears, even though you know what, it's over. Well, we're 3, and what did I say we are? 3-12? I mean, oh, man, what a season. It has been a tough one. But, the reason, now this is here, besides the fact the Bears look very lethargic, that's number one reason why I think they lost the game. And I just haven't seen them play like that this year. Regardless of the scores or this or that, they just seem to be really playing. And to me, the only people that were playing were the linebackers and the backfield of the defense. That's the only people that showed up for this game on Saturday. Second, we couldn't stop the run. Again, our defensive line is god-awful, and I'm going to point something out to you to show it to you. But we gave up 254 yards rushing. Josh Allen had only, 179 yards throwing, something like that. He didn't even throw over 200 yards. It was the rushing that killed us. They were just running up and down the field. Our defensive line is so bad, so embarrassing. Will any of them be on the team next year? Who knows? I know they will, but they probably won't be starters. But no, they probably will. But it's just... That was it right there, 254 yards. You give that up, you're going to be beat every single time. And what I noticed in watching this game, I noticed number 6, Gordon, and number 9, Brisker, our defensive backfield guys. They were you saw them up on the line a lot during this game on Saturday, which just shows you that the defensive coordinator knows his defensive line sucks. So he was trying to get anybody he could to get up there, and they still couldn't stop the run. But between the linebackers and the backfield, I was looking at the tackles made, which I generally don't do. I mean, I usually do it, but I don't talk about them a lot. But the linemen, the defensive linemen, who are the first, defense of a defensive team, their first attack, they hardly had any solo tackles. The guy, our linebacker, number 45, Jay Thomas, he's a middle linebacker, or I don't know if he's a middle linebacker, he's a linebacker. He had 6 solo tackles with 1 assist. Monroe, number 53, who also had an interception yesterday. He had an interception, and he had 5 tackles with 3 assists. And then Gordon, our awesome rookie guy in the backfield, he's a D backfield. I always get these guys mixed up. Cornerback, safety, whatever. They're back there. Gordon, number 6, who's awesome. He also had an interception again yesterday, and actually Gordon for the season has 3 right now, and that's really nice for a rookie to see. That's awesome. But Gordon had 5 solo tackles. I mean, we see what's happening here. It's not good. Number 9, Brisker, our great also backfield safety. Number 9, he had 4 solo tackles with 3 assists. And then number 31, Jay Jones, Julian Jones, or is it Justin Jones? There's so many Jones on these teams that Justin Jones, I think. He's also a backfield guy. He had 2 solos and 2 assists. So you can see what was going on here. The defensive line did not do their job. Everybody behind them did their job. And if you've got a defensive line that can't stop anybody, which we've had pretty much all season, right? You're fucked. And at Saturday's game, I keep saying yesterday, but it wasn't yesterday. Saturday's game, it showed. The Bears, it was just awful. I mean, really, we've had a lot of games and we've scored a lot of points, but the last couple of weeks, we're not scoring again. And I don't know what's going on. Are they trying different things? I know it was really freaking cold, but it was really cold for the Bills too. And they put up 35 points on the Bears, okay? So, It was everybody. The only person that Santos didn't miss anything, which was shocking. So that was a bright spot. But there wasn't really any there. Santa was not great. The gracing the Bears on Saturday. So it's real tough. It is really really tough. It's hard to talk about them now. Because a lot of people, when they're doing their shows or podcasts or the YouTube shows like I do, they're already talking about the draft and next year. I've talked about next year a lot, but I'm not getting into the draft until after the season's over. I'm just not going to do it until after the Bears are done because, and really talking about the draft, we could talk about it. I'm not one who was going to, after the Bears, sometimes I stay on the air for the playoffs, even though the Bears aren't in it, and then sometimes I don't. Last year I stayed on the air because they ended up firing all those idiots, and so I was doing shows to talk about that and this and that. So this year I'm not sure. I may just stop the show when the Bears season's over after they play Minnesota. I'm not sure. I'll let you guys know, but there's really not a lot to talk about. Really, we know. We desperately need a defensive line. We need offensive linemen. We've got some guys like, Patrick, who's been on, barely played. He played one quarter at his own position, center, and then he was playing guard for a while, and which he was terrible at. He should be back and healthy next year, hopefully. And, there are a few guys like, Leatherwood looks like he could be good. Who's the other one? Oh, God. His name just went right out of my head. My brain's pickled. I did a lot of partying last week into this weekend. Braxton Jones. He looks good. So, if we could when we get some good offensive linemen, we plug them in and these guys will look better. Jenkins. He really started looking good until he got hurt. So, we need offensive linemen desperately, but we don't need to do the whole line like we do the defensive line, in my opinion. And so if we get that offensive line figured out, obviously that's going to help Justin a lot. It's going to help Justin. It's going to help. It's going to help your running back, and it's going to help your wide receiver, so they'll have a little more time to try to get open for Justin. If Justin has more time, then the receivers have more time. But on that note, we need wide receivers. We don't have good wide receivers. Our best one is Mr. Mooney, who I love, but Mr. Mooney is not a number one receiver. He is a very, very good number two receiver. If you give him a really good number one receiver and then you've got him, you've got a nice duo going. And then Jones, number 12, if he could turn out to be what he was supposed to be, which he has not shown up this year, terrible fumbling, but he did have a great game yesterday. Maybe we can see him. Claypool. He was hurt, and then we got him in the middle of the season, so it's kind of hard for somebody who comes in the middle of the season. So we should see him play better next year. And then we need to go, hopefully, I don't know. I do know the draft coming out of college this year has a very strong running backs, they said, which kind of concerns me because Montgomery's contract is up. And, I would love to see them keep Montgomery because I think he's a solid runner. He's a good blocker. He can catch. He has over, 200 and something yards receiving. And him and Herbert are a great duo, although it didn't show up on Saturday. But Herbert just came off of the IR. So you're not going to, I don't even think the Bears, they put him in there, but we couldn't run for shit, obviously. Obviously, the Bills came in. Their goal was to stop the run because they know Justin is not going to beat them this year in the pass. It's not going to happen, and it didn't. So they did what they were the only team that could stop the Chicago Bears running attack this year was the Bills. So congratulations to the Bills. Now I hope they kind of go far, But so we know what we need. But the defensive line, I'm sure there's a couple guys that once in a while show up, but we need to really get some good, solid defensive linemen that can stop the run. The guys remember Akeem Hicks? Oh, I love that guy. 96 for the Bears. Man, when he was healthy, he could stop the run. He was a big dude. Man, he would just put his arms out and stop them. That's what we need on the defensive line. That has got, for most of the beginning of the season, all we talked about offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. Now, in my opinion, the defensive line needs a lot more work than the offensive line. We need them, but we really need defensive linemen, and we need some more good linebackers. The only solid part on the defense for the Bears is the backfield. There's nothing wrong with that backfield, and I even think their backups are pretty decent, so we don't even have to worry about that. So when you're going into the free agency and the draft, you've got D-line, O-line, wide receivers, linebackers. Of course you want to find some other players. You want backups, of course, but I'm talking to start the game and to win, and we need to work on that in the offseason, that's for sure. And Saturday's game, if anything, it showed us that, especially on the defensive line. Now, he was sacked twice, so that wasn't terrible, but we didn't pass a lot. Well, he made 23 attempts, right? So, and he did complete 15 of them, but he was sacked twice. They even took him out at the end of the game. My son's like, where's Fields? I go, would you leave him in there? And he goes, yeah, you're right. There's no point. There wasn't any point. What was it, like 2 minutes left? Yeah, and that's when Peterman, I think, threw the interception, didn't he? But at that point, I had lost interest completely. I was at my son's house watching the game, and the second half of the game, my grandson was awake after his nap. So it's like I'm watching one eye's on the bear and one eye's on my grandson because I can't take my eyes off of him. He was the best Christmas gift I could have ever had. It was a little rough this year. I didn't get to spend with my family like I do normally. I stayed in Vegas first time. I've not been with them all. They actually were spread all over the United States this Christmas, so it was kind of a rough Christmas. I didn't dig it so much, but just seeing that cute grandson of mine smile, even though you didn't really know what was going on. This Christmas is more for his parents and me, and his other grandparents, just to watch them. But so that helped, being with him on Christmas Eve for a little while. That definitely helped swallow that terrible game. So, I don't even know what else to say. There's really nothing else to say. Except for, again, God, I am really rocking this hat, and I'm digging it. And I even got this new the sweatshirt, but I got that a couple weeks ago from my best buddy. So, so next week's game is in Detroit. And they desperately need to win this game because I couldn't believe it. They lost over the weekend. I was shocked. Damn frickin' Packers won. That ruined my Christmas yesterday when I saw that. I didn't watch the game because I was at my daughter-in-law's grandparents' house, but I heard. I'm like, of course, fucking Packers. But so we played Detroit at this coming week. I think it's on Sunday the 1st. So the show will be coming. I will not be my beautiful stage. I will not be in front of my beautiful stage next week, but I will give you a show. I'm going to be traveling soon. I'm going to go see my sister in Tennessee. So, and some of my family will be there, so I'll get to make up for it on the other end. So, I don't even know why I'm telling you all this stuff, because there's nothing else to talk about the Bears. The game was awful. They sucked. I broke it down why. And what else can you say? So this is probably going to be the shortest show out of a 3-year history that I've done this show. This is going to be the shortest one. And what does that tell you? The Bears are bad. Happy New Year. And I would have loved nothing more to sing the victory song today, but I don't think I'll be singing that the rest of the year. And I'm just finishing up my letter to George McCaskey. And, if you watch my shows, you know that I'm a pen pal with George McCaskey. We're tight. And I've talked to him on the phone. He gave me his phone number. Seriously, it's a long story, but I won't get into it. So I'm like, it's time to write him a letter. I'm not going to, but at the end of the letter, I'm going to ask him to, which he probably won't do, but I'm going to ask him to try to start a contest to see if somebody else can come up with a better touchdown song. I don't like the touchdown song. Some people do. I think it sucks. I don't think it flows enough. So wouldn't it be great? Maybe they could do a contest and say, okay, who can write a good touchdown song? It's not too long, and maybe you could win Bears sweatshirts, hats, or 2-season tickets, or even a ticket to a game. 2 tickets to a game or 4 tickets. I bet you get a lot of entries. So I'm in the midst of writing a letter to them about this season, and then I'm going to finish it up with, let's try to get a new touchdown song, okay? So I can sing it next year, because next year in 2023, we're going to be singing it a lot. I promise you that. I do promise you that. You heard it here from Lynn. Lynn, let's talk Chicago Bears. But yeah, I'm almost winding up season 3. I can't believe it. Man, I was jonesing for this season so bad all summer long. I couldn't wait. And now we're at the end of it, and it didn't really turn out the way we thought, did it? No. I know a lot of people, including my buddy Dan, they who thought that they were going to be 11-6. Dan, I got to call you out. I will always do that. A lot of people thought they were going to be better. I was hoping for 500, but I was pretty sure it wasn't going to be 500. But I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I really, really didn't. And we all know, if you've watched all the games, there were several games the Bears should have and could have won. And they shot themselves in the foot. A lot of those games most of the games the Bears lost this season were in the fourth quarter. They could not finish, and that is something that I'm sure Coach Flus is going to really, really work on. And you know what? I could call out the offensive coordinator. Luke doesn't get it, because some of the play calls, they were terrible. But you know what? I don't even care anymore. I'm over this game, and you know what? It is Christmas, so let's try to be a little nice, even though Christmas is over, so I don't really need to be nice anymore. But now I'm just rambling. No one's going to watch this show. So, all right, guys. Like I said, this is the shortest show I've ever done in 3 seasons, but that's okay. So, we know what happened. I will be back. Oh, yeah, I guess I will be back on Friday, and my stage won't be here either. So, I'll see you on Friday. We'll talk about Detroit. And you know what? It would be nice to upset Detroit, wouldn't it? And I know they want to go to the playoffs. So I'm kind of have mixed feelings on this game, but I'd sure like to win one more game before the season's over. Leave with a winning. I don't know how Coach Flus is going to send these guys off. He's a pretty inspirational guy, so hopefully he sends them off. He's got to, because the record has got to be defeating. I'm sure they're pissed and they're sick of this season, but they're being paid and they got to play. And so, Coach, you got a job to do to send these guys off in a couple weeks in a positive way, right? Good luck to you. Now, Coach Flus, if you need any help, you can give me, Lynn, a call. I could help you. See, now I'm rambling. There's nothing to talk about. Okay, I'm gonna go. All right. So on that note, I hope you guys had a great holiday. New Year's coming up, and we're entering 2023. I can't believe this year's almost over. So be kind, love one another. Let's get through this crappy 2022 season and year. It's been tough for a lot of reasons besides football. But let's just stick together. Bears fans rock. And anybody watching me, just be kind to people. That's what I always ask, and that's really what I want. Being kind to one another helps a whole hell of a lot, doesn't it? And just enjoy your week. A lot of people are off, so enjoy your week. Get through the New Year's, and then let's look into a positive 2023 season, right? And I love you guys. I appreciate you watching always. You know that. I thank you all the time. Sorry the show didn't have a whole lot more to offer, but nor did that game on Saturday. Right? Right. And again, don't you think I'm rocking this hat? Come on, you guys. What do you think? course, I rock everything. Not really, because remember, my dad's face on a woman's body just is not fair. On that note, go Bears and keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby.